contactees and the Galactic Federation. There have been many contactees, and some have had face-to-face interactions with extraterrestrials, and some have actually been on board their spacecraft and taken off planet. Many have spoken of the Galactic Federation, but few, if any, have been able to provide corroborating evidence to support their testimony, except one contactee. Elena Danaan was abducted by Orion Grays when she was 9 years old and rescued by the Galactic Federation of Worlds, which had to repurpose the tracking implant to be a quantum communication device linked to the Federation High Commander Thor Hanaredion. She has graciously taken on the mission to be their emissary and be a communication bridge between the Federation and the people of Earth. To date, there have been 27 corroborations of Elena Danaan's information. The following is a list of this corroborating information in chronological order. I wish to first acknowledge Dr. Michael Salla for his outstanding research work and documentation of many of these following events that can be found on exopolitics.org. On the night of November 9th and 10th of 2018, Elena saw red glowing ships hovering over the bay on the west coast of Ireland. Then in a flash of sparkling light showering down upon her bedroom, she was beamed up inside Thorhan's ship in a big flash of blue light. The following morning, Irish newspapers printed that there had been UFO sightings over the west of the country. Here are the radio recordings of pilots to the air control tower describing the encountering of this fleet of UFOs at high speed.
Okay, sir, there's nothing showing on either primary or secondary.
Okay, it was moving so fast, in fact, you can no longer see it, but yes, thank you. It's to come up on our left-hand side and then rapidly veer to the north. Being so bright light, and then it just disappeared at a very high speed. We were just wondering. We didn't think it was a likely collision course, we were just wondering what that could have been.
Meteor or another object making some kind of re-entry. Appeared to be multiple objects following the same sort of trajectory. Very bright from where we were.
Okay, that's copied. And is there a direction it was going in or anything?
Virgin 76. I saw two bright lights at 11 o'clock. Seemed to back over to the right and then climb away at speed, at least from our perspective.
Okay, we're passing that on now. Thank you.
That's all good.
Okay, just so you know that other aircraft in the air have also reported the same thing, so we're going to have a look and see.
Elena Danaan published A Gift from the Stars 3 months before Professor Haim Rashid announced publicly that some governments were working secretly with the Galactic Federation of Worlds, and that President Trump was on the verge of extraterrestrial disclosure, but was told to hold back by the Galactic Federation since we weren't at the right level. A former employee at McMurdo Base in Antarctica confirmed Elena's information about the Dark Fleet evacuating Antarctica and handing over the base to the Chinese. He saw many Germans leaving in the middle of the 2021 Antarctic winter, and many Chinese arriving at the same time. Thorhan reveals the Jupiter meeting agreements with the Galactic Federation of Worlds, meeting with representatives of the Earth Alliance. This corroborates with sightings of the Artemis Accords among countries, as the Federation wants to work with a unified global civilization. Further confirmation by U.S. Command Leader James Dickinson that over 100 agreements have been reached with different countries, agencies, and corporations for space-related activities. Thorhan reveals a full text of the Prime Directive, matching what was given to Gene Roddenberry through the connections of the Office of Naval Intelligence that was working with the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Dr. Michael Salla discovers a Star Trek book, unbeknownst to Elena, titled, quote, The Federation, where the text given to Gene Roddenberry matches almost exactly. Thorhan reveals meetings on Ganymede, which corroborates with Dr. Michael Salla's witness JP, who later reports his mission going to Ganymede as support personnel, and Alex Collier, Andromeda contactee, also corroborates Thorhan's information. Thorhan reveals the arrival of the Intergalactic Confederation is activating space arcs in our solar system, which corroborates with U.S. Army insider JP, who visited one of the activated space arcs on the moon. Thorhan reveals that there is a very large space arc in the Atlantic Ocean, a week before military witness JP goes on a mission to the Atlantic Arc. Jean-Charles Moyen and Elena Danaan described trips they both took to the Galactic Federation mothership called the Excelsior, and then to Lake Vostok in Antarctica with Thorhan, where they witnessed a space arc with blue giants sleeping in stasis chambers. Elena describes how she was tasked by the Galactic Federation to witness Jean-Charles as he toured the Lake Vostok arc. In Elena's 2020 book, quote, A Gift from the Stars, where she detailed 110 different extraterrestrial races and the planets they inhabit, she showed an illustration that the Proxima Centauri system having 3 big inhabited planets. 2 years later, when NASA had greater telescopic abilities, in February of 2022, NASA discovered, just exactly as Elena had described, a 3rd planet in the Proxima Centauri system. What are the odds? Jean-Charles Moyen has a meeting with Elena on the mothership Excelsior and describes the exact experience on board. From Elena's book, quote, The Cedars. She says, quote, The memory of these events was reconstructed by my testimony and the testimony of Jean-Charles Moyen put together. Jean-Charles is a French super soldier that was recruited for a 20 and back program in the Solar Warden Fleet. I met him through Dr. Michael Sell, and we became friends after realizing with stupefaction that the extraterrestrial mothership he was visiting for leisure time when he was in service and that was named the Excelsior was indeed the same battle station where Thorhan lives and works. Jean-Charles and I compared identical memories of a particular cafeteria with extremely detailed description of food replicators, bars with floating androids serving ionized blue drinks, the interior design of the station, teleportation pads, etc., unquote. Thorhan says, watch for activity on Neptune to be revealed, and 2 weeks later, NASA and multiple scientific articles substantiates this, showing an unexpected large red heat abnormality on the surface of Neptune from a space arc activating. Thorhan said, quote, the ships are coming. The Guardians are on the outer orbit of Terra, 4 ships for the moment. They are watching in time dilation, suspended in time like the old Oumuamua. It was one of their ships. It was activated. The ones in the ice belt have activated too, and all the others, one by one, on all the planets. Neptune is next. You will see. You will hear about Neptune soon. Okay, this is something I've been involved with. This date marks the start of a question and answer exchange that I've done through Elena, relaying the information from Jen Hanaredian, who is Thorhan's younger brother, a Pleiadian scientist called a star maker, and is currently performing terraforming operations on the planet Mars. What I have found is all the information Jen Han has shared in regards to the science and interfacing of consciousness with quartz crystals to corroborate perfectly with what IBM's head scientist, Dr. Marcel Vogel, was able to quantify and measure in his laboratory. These exchanges of science and technology understanding from the world have been ongoing for over 3 years now. In order to help in developing these advanced technologies, I've assembled a small international team of scientists. We hope soon to present credible scientific evidence establishing the reality of this technology, which can potentially be used for beneficial applications on our planet. Stay tuned. Evidence that can be scientifically verified and established from these exchanges may be coming very soon. On April 27, 2022, Thorhan on Mars communicating to Elena and says, quote, that there had been a severe earthquake due to the terraforming operations that had started, unquote. On May 4th, 1 week later, NASA reports the largest quake on Mars ever detected in our solar system. Information like this, you just simply can't make up. Thorhan revealed to Elena on October 10th, 2021, quote, "The fleet of Intergalactic Confederation has arrived in the star system. The ships will be stationed around Jupiter for a while until further notice move nearer to Earth's orbit," unquote. Thorhan reveals the Intergalactic Confederation fleet is approaching nearer to Earth's orbit. This was seen on the International Space Station camera feeds showing a fleet formation of more than 30 spacecraft passing in full view of the camera. This is part of a disclosure plan. A huge fleet of the Intergalactic Confederation ships parked behind Jupiter being spotted on the James Webb Space Telescope, showing a mysterious cold spot to the right of Europa, which Una of the Intergalactic Confederation said to Elena, "Salutations to who will read this communication I am transmitting now. Here, First Altian Emissary Una, speaking on behalf of the Intergalactic Confederation Council of 24. There are 138 motherships, part of the Nataru Alliance in your star system named Sol, with their fleets. This number represents several thousands of craft. 550 vessels of the Intergalactic Confederation have entered your star system and are stationed in orbit of your planet named Jupiter, and 4 are at present moment in orbit of your planet Terra. The recently disclosed image of your planet Jupiter displays the cloud of orbital rocks plus the defense grid of the ships from the Ashtar outposts, plus some of our motherships. The majority of our fleet is behind the planet Jupiter, hidden from your sight. The disclosure of this image is not an error, but a move from the Terran Alliance in charge of the program. Terran instances may name our ships, quote, cold spots. There is truth. More visuals to come. The plan is on schedule, one step at a time. We are holding your hand, and you must not look back. Instead, look up. In the greater design of the universe, you are already on the other side of the bridge." At the GISIC 2022 Galactic Spiritual Informers Conference that Danny wonderfully presents, Tony Rodriguez was talking to Elena about his upcoming new book, about the symbols that he saw. He didn't tell Elena the book was about star making, which is their term for terraforming. As Tony started to describe the symbol to Elena with a drawing in his spiral notebook as shown, Elena says it looks like the star-making designator patch she saw on Jen Hand's uniform, who is a star maker. This was a corroborating surprise to Tony, as he had never told Elena his book was about star making. Elena physically went with Thor Hanaredion to the Meton ship and received by High Commander Haben from Meton. Haben agreed to bring her to the time-looking device, where Elena was able to view the future of Terra 20 years from now. High Commander Haben said to Elena, quote, "All of these technologies that you saw existing 20 years from now are being produced now in this precise moment. Everything is real. Everything exists already. It's ready for when the people of Terra are ready. And a new leader will come, and the dark will vanish because the light will rise. All the real leaders will rise all over the planet Earth as you call it. And it is now, very soon, the time when you stand up and the hand we held to you, you finally take it, and we are family," unquote. Soon afterward, on March 4th, 2023, President Trump talks about an upcoming quantum leap in technology and the building of futuristic new cities and advanced technologies with private vertical takeoff and landing vehicles for civilians, flying cars, etc., confirming not only what Elena saw from the near future, but also about the device that Thorhan gave to General Van Herk containing blueprints of a new advanced technologies. This suggests the release of classified new energy and anti-gravity technologies is coming soon. On January 1st, 2023, Elena shared a message from High Commander Ardana, who said that in 2023 will be the year of rediscovery and opening of the pyramids. Ardana ended her message by saying, quote, "Open the pyramids, so rush to the pyramids, focus on the pyramids. This year opens the pyramids," unquote. Then, on March 2nd, 2023, archaeologists discover a secret chamber inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. Elena describes on January 7, 2023, a meeting that Thor Hanaredian had with a secret underground military facility in the Blue Ridge Mountains called the Raven Rock Mountain Complex to discuss an extraterrestrial disclosure plan developed by the Earth Alliance, by military leaders, and the Galactic Federation of Worlds, which she witnessed through the eyes of Thorhan as he gave an oblong storage device to a general of the Earth Alliance. This device contained directives from the Galactic Federation of Worlds regarding disclosure, with a lot of information in it and directives. Dr. Michael Salla sent Elena a list of 44 current active duty 4-star generals in the U.S. military, and out of all of them, she identified General Van Herk as the most resembling the officer she saw that Thorhan gave the directives to. General Van Herk was at the time the Joint Commander of the United States Northern Command and the Northern American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, both of which are headquartered in Peterson Space Force Base in Colorado Springs, Colorado. General Van Herk was appointed to those positions and promoted to a 4-star rank during the Trump administration. Supporting what Elena had disclosed regarding regressive extraterrestrial groups that have been removed from our solar system with the help of the Galactic Federation of Worlds and the Earth Alliance in the years 2021 through 2022, John Peterson from the Arlington Institute, a U.S. Navy-funded think tank, confirmed that regressive ET groups have been removed from our solar system and cites that this is based upon 3 independent sources. In this interview with Greg Braden, he stated, "The sources that I have are suggesting that, in fact, there have been a major visit last calendar year, 2022, that the good forces, if you will, have made extraordinary kind of advances and have essentially driven the negative forces off the planet and out of the solar system, at least something like that. And therefore, what is happening is that the human component, human leadership elements, who have used to have the cover and resources and other kinds of things from this off-planet group, and there's a number of groups in a larger group, they've always had direction and help and resources and so on. And now that's gone. I've got this from 3 independent sources. That's gone. And that those folks who we all kind of presume to be at the top and kind of driving things, are scrambling very hard to try to hang on because they've lost their kind of sponsor, if you will," unquote. On July 8, 2023, Dr. Michael Salla asked questions to Thorhan via Elena about a mega project called the Hub. Thorhan reveals that, quote, "When the hub will be finished, when civilians from Terra will be able to come. This is not now, will take some time. Some civilian flights are being tested in the orbit of Terra." About a month later, on August 10th, 2023, the first civilian flights into space by Virgin Galactic were then launched. Elena Danaan releases Encyclopedia Galactica, which corroborates with scientists that planet TRAPPIST-1H may be composed almost entirely of water. The scientists stated that the 7th planet TRAPPIST-1H is the most removed from the star as well as the smallest in the entire system, unlike the other planets. 1H may be composed almost entirely of water. Thor Hanaredian discloses that the Aerospace Corporation attempts to end-run the Jupiter agreements 2 days prior to its intent being published. The Aerospace Corporation was doing this as an end-run to it being excluded from the Jupiter Agreement signed in July 2021, which did not allow certain nefarious activities in space. The Aerospace Corporation has been apparently threatened by the information that Elena Danaan has been disclosed. This was revealed by Mr. Dave Rossi, inventor, a contractor working with diverse organizations on secret technology programs, who stated the following, quote, specifically, what I can tell you is that there is, in terms of a department, or dare I say, sub-department, one thing I can tell you is that this is the first time I'm actually saying this publicly. There would be elements out of what we know as the Aerospace Corporation that would be specifically surveying certain individuals. What I can tell you is that there is certainly people that consider it a job to survey Miss Danaan, among others, for many hours a day and weaponize and utilize stigma in an attempt to discredit her and others as well. The name of the company is Aerospace Corporation, founded in 1960. Prior to Iran's April 13, 2024 strike on Israel, Thor Hanaredian disclosed a secret deal made on April 11th between Iran and Israel to avert a massive retaliatory regional war, which did not occur according to occur following Iran's strike on Israel. On August 1st, 2024, Danny Henderson, you know this one well, videos interviews Elena Danaan on her YouTube channel regarding the JISC 2024 Colorado conference, where Elena guarantees that Thorhan has agreed to do a display in the sky during the conference to all the attendees. This was similar to what was done in France prior. Then on September 27th, 2024, High Commander Thor Hanaredian kept his promise to Elena and displayed a fleet of Federation scout ships to 1,000 witnesses at the place and time promised in a NORAD-restricted no-fly zone. In addition, Thorhan also coordinated with the Earth Alliance for U.S. Navy to fly in a TR-3B triangular shaped spacecraft. In April of 2021, in Elena's book, quote, "We Will Never Let You Down," the following was warned by Thor Hanaredian, and Elena posted a video in April of 2021 as well regarding this warning for the future, where Thorhan said, quote, "The deep state and their allies want to give a bad name to the Galactic Federation, making people believe they will be the harmful invaders. This preconditioning anti-propaganda has begun already, trying to demonstrate to the world that the Galactic Federation is evil. But we are not fooled, and the Galactic Federation is not going to let this happen," unquote. And today, in 2025, as Thorhan predicted, this exact narrative is being said of the Galactic Federation of Worlds. The full text and details, supportive documentation, as a list of corroborative evidence for Elena Danaan can be found at thewebmatrix.net/elenadanaan.html. In conclusion, all voices are important to take note of. When you hear conflicting testimonies and narratives, research deeper and look for corroborating evidence that backs what the different voices are revealing. Remember, anybody can say anything, but not everybody can back with evidence what they're saying. Doesn't mean they're not telling the truth. As when I went to Washington, I couldn't provide the documentation. But corroborating evidence shows a much higher probability. Use your discernment to sort out the truth that attempts to hide the truth and the psychological warfare that we're all in. Truth is important because it empowers us to see clearly the bigger picture and thus allow us to unite in truth together in order to transform the world toward a liberated future from the secrecy and deceptions of the past that have held back humanity for the agendas of the criminals of humanity. And may that truth guide us toward the liberation of our planet. So there we have it.